My name's Kareem Hayes. I'm a self-published author. My book is called Necessary Evil. It's based on the social ecology of New York's drug trade during the mid to early 90s, loosely based on some of my experiences, but I changed the names and locations to protect the innocent as well as the guilty. It's a real powerful story. The dialogue is urban and the narrative is intellectual. Okay? In a nutshell, what inspired me to write the book was I was always a good writer. When I was in grade school, 11th grade and stuff like that, 10th grade, and I remember hearing this guy give a lecture, and he said that, you know, what you should do with your adult life, it should be something that you enjoy doing as a child. Anything that you would do for free as an adult, as a child, is something that you should do as an adult for pay, right? So I wanted to make money off of my art. I wanted to make money off of some things that I love. So I sat down and I poured my feelings out into this piece, and I actually have 2 or 3 pieces that come behind it. The type of lifestyle that I lived up until then, I was always an entrepreneur, but what saved my life was, I was a street entrepreneur, right? But what saved my life was my love for knowledge and my love for academia. I was always somebody that liked to study. I was always somebody that liked to read a lot. I was the type of person that if you was selling drugs with me on the block, I only had $5 for the weed, but I had $200 for the book, man. I would spend like $200, $300 in books, walk around with a big book bag full of books, and I was always studying. So I was kind of like a hood nerd, right? And as you evolve as a person, you know, you can't serve 2 masters, right? They say God protects babies and fools, right? So I'm not a fool and I'm not a baby, right? I was diagnosed with a condition called Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease. And I don't look like it, right? That's because I try to eat healthy, I exercise a lot, really try to take care of myself, avoid drugs and alcohol. You know, the book was just a natural part of my metamorphosis and me changing. Now, writing a piece and actually having the faith to put the energy behind it to sell it yourself is 2 different things. A lot of people don't necessarily have that energy, but I feel that you have to believe in yourself to the point of insanity. I feel like your confidence should be borderline arrogance, because nobody's going to believe in you like you're going to believe in yourself. I came in here, I sold a box today. I drove here from New York with enough money for toll and barely enough money to eat. That's how I live my day, right? Because that's how much faith I have in myself. If I don't sell any books, I don't get home. Who cares? Because I'm not leaving until I sell books. I tell people a lot, I'm rambling, but this is my theory, this is my philosophy on life. Happiness is a choice. Do anybody know what that means? Happiness is a choice. The perils of life will not change, right? We're all going to have bills, we're all going to have rent. Some of us are going to have asthma, some of us are going to be diabetic, some of us are going to have really bad back pains. It is how you deal with adversity is what shapes your character and defines the kind of person you'll be. I always try to put on a happy face. You know, when you spoke to me, I'm sure maybe at least more than 5 of y'all turned me down. I didn't have an attitude where I said, look, enjoy your day, thanks for stopping. Let me tell you the truth. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, get the damn book. That's what I had in my head. But I always project that happiness. If you give off a positive energy, you get back a positive energy, right? Back to writing. Writing can be a very lucrative career. I urge people of color, or just people in lower income communities. A lot of times we think that the way out is we want to be the rapper, or we want to be the singer or the dancer, the person that's in front of the stage. But it's actually the producer, the actor, or it's actually the producer, the writer, the distributor who has the real power. So I always urge people to get into positions of power. Now somebody will say, why did you go independent with your publishing, right? A lot of times people think that I'm a part of a real publishing house because I made sure to invest in myself to the point where the quality was up to standard of somebody that was published by a publishing company. Because how could you believe in me if I don't believe in me, right? If I'm not willing to spend my last on my product, how can I get you to spend your last on my product? My reason for going independent is because a lot of book deals, people are getting, unless you're Stephen King, like Isaac Asimov, what is it, Dwayne Cooper, Coops, and all those other guys, their book deals are like $6,000 to $9,000, $10,000, right? So they're giving you that money and then they're writing your life away. You don't own the book, you're only getting like maybe $1, a quarter off of every book sold, right? I sold 9,000 copies at the rate of $10 to $20 each copy in less than a year and a half time. So how much money have I made on my own, completely independent? Now, if a company approaches me and they say, listen, Kareem, we want to pick you up, they have to give me more than I've been able to. So what can you give me that I can't do myself? You understand what I mean? And it's all about your integrity as a person and how far you're willing to go, how far you're willing to push. Does anybody ever get stumped when they're writing? Anybody ever get stumped when they're writing? Anybody ever Anybody wants to write a book? Anybody have that idea in their head, want to be a writer? Can I show them my basics to writing? I have like real simple basics, right? This is something I do all the time. People always ask me like, how do you write a book? I want to write a book, but I'm not sure how to go about it. And believe me, my book is no bigger than a college paper, because sometimes you have to write a 200-page manuscript for a class. So basically, some of you guys have already written books already. You don't have to raise nothing. This is the first thing I always do. Y'all heard that concept before, brainstorming, right? But it's really a good thing. It works, right? Because like, say if you wanted to write a story about your life, right? And your name is Susie, little Susie. She's sitting over here. Susie is invisible, right? So Susie wants to write a story about her life. A lot of times people get caught up in the sequence. You know what I mean? The sequence is, I was born here, then my family moved here, and then I went to high school, right? Don't do that, because now you're attempting to write the story. Don't write the story. Just splash a whole bunch of stuff. My first fist fight when I was 12. Your first boyfriend had blonde hair and blue eyes, and when you knew that you was a pro-black freedom fighter was the day your dad made you read Malcolm X's autobiography, right? Boom, boom, boom. So now these are all these climactic flashes from your life, right? Then you go to TV shows, movies, things that you like to watch, and look at how they sequence the life and time. I start my story with, bow, I get shot. You know what I mean? And then it goes boop, 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 boop. Then it takes you back to my childhood, right? One girl was telling me about, she wanted to write a book. And I said to her, well, say that you're having like sexual relations with a guy, right? And something about your sexual relations with him brings you back to when you were 12 years old and you were molested. You see what I mean? So, you know, you flip it and bounce it, and that's how you write your story. And believe it or not, you ever heard of KISS, that concept KISS? It's an acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to learn a lot of stuff in school. People are going to come at you with different concepts, but the majority of the things you need to know, you learned in the first to third grade, right? So intro, body, conclusion. So after you brainstorm, sequence into your intro, body, and conclusion. It's the simplest thing. What's your intro? My intro is, listen, man, when I talk in schools, I'm overwhelmed and I'm really a good speaker, right? The body is, I talk about all the different schools that I went and spoke at. My conclusion is, see, I told you I was a really good speaker. It's really simple. Mm-hmm. Open up for questions if somebody wants to ask me some questions.
Yes, because don't ask me when you guys will be shining and he'll leave and you ask me and I have no
you can ask me anything. All right, go ahead, bro.
How long did you work on the book for?
It took me 5 months to, I'm glad you asked me that, because I wanted to say that. It took me 5 months to write it, but it took me 5 months to write it. I wrote it in 2010. It took me 5 years to edit it. Dig it? Every time I print that book, I re-edit something. And my reason being, I have two reasons. One reason is because it's my book and it has to be as near perfect as possible, right? I haven't read one book where I didn't find something wrong with it, right? But still, and then some of our prized writers like, what is it, Shakespeare, Hemingway, Mark Twain, these guys had really terrible English, believe it or not. They weren't the best, you know what I mean? But one reason is because it's my book and I have, it's my product, it has to be as good as possible. Second is, no offense to anybody's culture, but I'm a black author. A black urban author, right? So a lot of times when people, and urban is just another word for the hood. It means I lived in the hood at some point in time in my life, right? People are prone to look for errors. They're prone to expect me to mess up. They're prone to expect something to be wrong. And I'm cool with that. Because the same way that that's an Achilles heel, that's also my advantage too. Because you're expecting it, I'm gonna wow you when you find out that this 6'1" black dude, all the muscles who look like he just came out of jail, didn't write the book in prison and has the intellect of a college student or a university master's, right? That's the whole point. So that's why keep on editing your work, keep on editing, because whoever reads it, you want it to be as near perfection as possible.
Can you tell us how you came up with the title?
Because it's catchy, right? And because necessary evil defined is things that we don't necessarily want to deal with, but we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of the poverty and a lot of the social ills that the main characters dealt with growing up are necessary evils. I'm a firm believer in the holistic existence of life, right? holistic existence, when you look at things holistically, I never look at it as me, 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 me. I look at it as us, right? So sometimes things have to die for other things to live, right? So when I say a necessary evil, a lot of times, you know, the word evil is live spelled backwards. So a lot of times things that we think are evil or bad are actually just a metamorphosis of our world, of our actual reality. This is a philosophy, this isn't fact. But like, you know, for somebody, if you lived on an island where there was a volcano, that is a tragedy, right? When the volcano erupts and, oh my God, I'm gonna die, right? But that is your limited reality. Once the volcano erupts and it dies and everything you die and all your people die and the island is no more, it actually turns into a bigger island. Right? And that volcanic rock eventually becomes soil, becomes fertile, and becomes land for a whole nother generation, a whole nother species of people or whatever comes about. So I say all that to say that necessary evil it's just a holistic look on things, and it's also a catchy phrase to make sure I grab it.
How were you able to publish it yourself?
You know, selfpublishing.com. You know, basically, I'm glad you asked me the most important questions. The ISBN number is about $150, $125, and basically it's a social security number for this work, right? So you purchase an ISBN number, any ISBN purchasing company, Lulu, selfpublishing.com. If you have fingers to go on the internet, you can find a place that you'll purchase an ISBN number. You copyright your work, right? That's $25. ISBN number, $150. We have $175. You format your work, so you take it from a Word document and turn it into a PDF. The guy charged me about $600. You guys are school guys. You probably got somebody in the office right now that'll do it for you for free for like $30. But basically, you turn in a Word document into a PDF standard, right? So right now, let's say we at $500, $600, right? Now you just got to pay to print them up. How much it costs to print them up? The more you print, the cheaper it is. You can get your books down to $1 each, right? But that means you're printing up to 4,000 to 5,000 copies at a time. You know, and then you're also in the digital age. So you have to decide what's your demographic and how you're going to sell it. I'm a very grassroots, touchy-feely, I like to speak to people type of person. So I have an internet presence, I have my website and stuff like that, but I choose to sell it like this and allow this energy to generate something even bigger when it translates to the actual internet. You know, so I'm trying to become I'm going to become a local phenomenon. And they'll say, yo, this guy is, you know, he's out there, he's selling his book. And I want a big company and say, look, he'd do that. He could do 100,000 books by himself. Imagine if we gave him $1 million, how many books he could sell. And even if they don't, I don't care. I'll do it myself. You know, yeah, that determination has got to be there. You have got to have that fire. So when people, you know, how did I do it? It's my fire. This is my second step out of New York. I went to DC. And I've been hanging out in Jersey a lot because you know New York and New Jersey are like brother and sister. Y'all the sister. I'm just joking. Brother and sister. But I'm just joking. Don't beat me up. I know how y'all get down. But you know, I went to Garden State. I went to Garden State Parkway and was at an African festival over there. Anytime I'm at a Source of Knowledge bookstore down in Newark, I have some books in there too. So, you know, I'm just out here working. You know, you got to work. My website is KareemHayes.com. So you can always go on my website. I'm all over social media as INF the author. My nickname is INF, like infinity. INF the author. So if you go on Instagram at INF the author, if you go on Facebook and at INF the author at gmail.com, you'll find me there too. It'll be like a picture of me and 50 and stuff like that.